If you have seen me before, then I will need no introduction, as you will recognize my face. If, however, this is the first time you have seen me, then I must tell you now that I am called Simon Quinlank, and the thing I shall be telling you about is a hobby you might like to try.
Hello, welcome back to Wild Bill Jamming. I hope you're well. So, I've been pretty grumpy the last couple of weeks.
I will tear your fucking skin off. I will wear it to your mother's birthday party.
And I promised you a positive video, so here we go. But before we start, I just want to say why I think I've been a bit grumpy recently. Lack of choice. We're in lockdown in the UK. We're about to come out of it. But I've been going mad because I can't make any decisions. I can't go out and do stuff, whatever I want. And I think this is what drives people up the wall in Hell Let Loose. Because building garrisons gives players choices.
None of you have built any garrisons. There's not a single garrison in the blue.
We don't have garrisons.
Yeah, well...
I mean, I've built so many garrisons, I don't know what to say, really.
My name is Simon Quinlank, and I am angry.
Just like, you need an infrastructure of them.
We'll put one on the graveyard.
If someone else builds any garrisons, literally one person building garrisons, then we could.
We're gonna build a garrison and
tell them. You're in command. Tell them.
Trench place.
Mate, what do you think I've been saying for the last however long we've been playing this game? You can only tell people to do stuff. And that's the problem in a nutshell, really. You can't carry this game by yourself anymore. It really requires all of you to do exactly what you need to do. And I know we've got Update 8 coming, but I don't think it's really going to change the game all too much in terms of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about. So this video is going to cover some things that you just have to do in this game. They're not optional. They might seem like they're options, but they're really not. So let's dive into what you need to do as a team. And first up, as we've just heard, garrisons. And in this, I just want to say, it's not the responsibility of one person to build garrisons, it's the responsibility of the whole team to do it. And I'm not going to talk about how to build them, I'm going to talk about why they're important to build and how the game actually plays. And I want to start by talking about this meme, because this meme is everything. The game tricks you with false hope. And I think whether you're a new player or an experienced player, you might be asking, why does this keep happening? And I'm going to explain why. So this should be a good video for new players and also a bit of a reminder to older players, experienced players. So first thing you need to understand if you're a new player is that the cap speed only goes at one speed. It doesn't matter how many people you've got on the point. You can take the point with one person if there's no enemies on it. So throwing bodies at the point is really ineffective, as long as they've got Garys or backup Garys, because they can just keep throwing their own bodies at it. And whilst you're doing that, and you've got your whole team attacking, they're slowly getting round the back of you with a few guys and taking out your garrisons. So attacking is really difficult because you actually need to coordinate a lot of things. And you might be wondering why it's so much easier for the other team. So I'm going to use a little analogy using rugby. Because rugby is a game about territory. You're trying to move the ball up the pitch so you can create opportunities to score. Because it's not often that you score from your own half. So you keep control of the game by keeping control of the ball and protecting it, much like garrisons. And when you're attacking, you're trying to draw all the players into one area of the pitch, so then you can quickly get it out to the wings and do some crazy shit like this. And this same logic applies to American football, and that's why they hoof it all the way down the pitch at the start of the game, instead of trying to grub it and nick it back, because it's much safer to have the opposition further down the pitch. But if you don't organise your defence, they can just run straight through it. And this is the Hell Let Loose equivalent. We've only got 2 Garys up in the corner of the map. The enemy can just run straight round the side to the west. And you see this in kids football when they chase after it instead of keeping their form. And if you do push through and find yourself on your own, you have to realise that there's probably going to be someone there. So how do you stop this from happening? Recon. As Recon, you're the only people in the whole team that can place your OP anywhere on the map, so you have to use that to its full advantage. Normal squad leaders can only build their OPs in the first 2 grids of the red zone. And on maps like Foy, where it's really open, this creates a massive problem for the infantry. And you need to protect that OP and keep moving it. But it doesn't get destroyed when you lose the cap, so you just need to make sure you keep it safe and just wipe out those garrisons. And honestly, I find this the most satisfying thing to do in the game. But how do you find these garrisons or outposts? Well, you have to pretend you're some sort of super secret agent behind enemy lines, and you have to see where the enemies are coming from, and then track them back. And when you do this, you have to consider whether firing is the right option. Sometimes it's a lot better to just not fire and go take out their spawn point. Your priority should always be taking the outposts and garrisons and not killing people. All for the greater good.
I was just about to defend, man.
And I know what you're thinking.
How can this be for the greater good?
The greater good.
Eh? Because by limiting the amount of places they can spawn, they'll soon get overrun by the infantry pushing up. And whilst they're running around like headless chickens trying to get a new Garry up, you can start working on the next attack. Monty, do you want to drop supplies? About there. You got supplies, Monty? Oh yeah, nice one. And here's what I'm saying about capping with 1 person. Because they haven't got any spawn points there, they can't contest it. So you have to be preemptive with your building garrisons, not reactionary. Otherwise you end up in a situation like this.
Look, we called some builders. They didn't turn up when they said they would. Now,
what did you expect? They're builders! Have you ever seen a film where the hero is a builder? No, because they never fucking turn up in the nick of time!
Another thing you have to understand is the other team are trying to do exactly the same thing to you. So if you see a garrison pinging, this should be your reaction.
Charles, get the rifle out. We're being fucked.
And there's one thing I haven't even mentioned yet, which is artillery. So here's a game from the other night, and I was under the impression that no one was going to be using artillery. And they just finished this game in half an hour, and we just had no chance. Because they just took down all our garrisons within a few minutes, and we were just stuffed. So if you can coordinate with your spotter to mark garrisons, as well as destroy them, and time it so that they all go out pretty quickly, then your infantry can push straight in and mop up the mess. Artillery is the biggest killer in this game. But what about tanks? They're pretty handy too, aren't they? Again, if used in the right hands, they're devastating. I don't play tanks that much anymore, but there's a brilliant streamer called ElConveyor who I'd highly recommend to go and watch. He knows everything about tanks and how to communicate and how to drive them and where to shoot. And he's always looking for a tank crew. And at the heart of this is the resources. Because without building nodes, you don't get tanks, or artillery, or bombing runs, or supply drops, or recon planes. And it's like playing football with only your head, whilst the other team smash it at you. So your fun depends on yourself and also everyone else. And if people don't do this stuff, then you're just having a terrible time, basically. So if your fun is being spoilt by not having garrisons or tanks or artillery or anything, then don't blame others, blame yourself.
Oh, who the fuck are you? I'm the guy who does his job. You must be the other guy.
Unless you've been doing all of this stuff for everyone else, then I don't know what to say to you, because you've probably already gone insane.
I'm tired. I don't want to hear it.
Tired, and it's a lot of baloney. It's a lot of baloney, and I'm tired. All right, then.
I don't want to hear
You know you're tired. We're all tired.
And one last piece of advice for infantry, because I haven't really talked about them too much. You just need to be everywhere. And I've got one last sporting hero to mention.
Someone who is a maverick, someone who does that to the system, and it's Ian Botham.
Ian Botham was England's best all-rounder. He bats, bowls, commands, and has the most amazing hair. So as a player, feel free to just do what's needed. Don't just stick to your class. And for God's sake, don't go rifleman if you don't need it. Please play as support. Move fast, don't stay in one place, and don't be a chicken.
When you're out in the countryside and you see chicken, try to look a chicken in the eye with great intensity, and the intensity of stupidity that is looking back at you is just amazing.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Just got one more shout out to do for WTH. They're launching a level 60 plus server, which they will heavily admin. And I know that might sound really elitist to newer players, but when you've been playing the game as long as some of these guys have, it really gets tiring telling people what to do, and especially when they blame you for doing it.
I can end this madness right now if you give me the tools to go out there and fight these terrorists the way I know how.
And as part of the launch for the server, it's gonna start with a Europe versus America level 100s only war, haha, which is on Saturday. And if I play, I might do a little live stream of it as well. So, Update 8 comes out tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to shooting those supply trucks. I am kind of glad in the direction they've gone with support. There'll still be some loopholes, but hopefully it will help new players understand the Garrison stuff and help them do their jobs in a computer game.
Hobbies are only a way of filling up time, and they are not my entire life. Don't get me wrong. Hobbies aren't trivial. Hobbies are very, very, very important indeed.
And by the way, well done if you've stayed on this long in the video. And as a reward, I'm going to say that the guy putting on the shaving cream is actually me. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers, and it seemed to fit pretty well in the video. So there's a face reveal that no one asked for. But thanks for all the support over the last few months, and looking forward to carrying on doing this stuff. So I'll see you next week. Bye.